This video is part of Project DC, or Project Downcountry, where I see if I can make a downcountry bike, which in this case is a transition spur, go as fast as a cross-country race bike so that I can have a more versatile bike. And a lot of this project depends on the time trials that I'm doing. So in this video, I'm going to show you the course that I've been using for this project. The course itself takes about 37 minutes to complete. I'm just going to show you some highlights of it so you can get an idea of what I'm using. So I'm rolling up to where I start, and I usually warm up about 12 minutes before I start the time trial. And by the way, today I'm riding the Specialized stump jumper. So I'm not riding the bikes that I've been using for this time trial. I'm doing this because I wanted to test the wheels and tires that came on my transition spur, because the stump jumper tires are really grippy but really slow on cross-country trails. So I start right here, right at that little trail sign, and I immediately start up a hill, and then I'm going to take a right up here. So this is San Velasco, for those of you who are familiar with this trail system. So I turn right here, slight downhill, and then I continue up a hill. So the time trial starts with a couple minutes of climbing, and then there's a lot of up and down on the course. So now we're up a single track climb, and you continue up this climb for a little ways. I don't know the exact gradient here, but I'd say it's about 6 or 8%. So just continue up this single track climb. So I go straight on this trail called Extra Credit with a little bit more climbing up the single track. So finishing up Extra Credit with a little intersection here, coming downhill. And by the way, I will not be going anywhere near my time trial pace on most of this course. Just wanted to show you what the course looks like. Come through here. It's probably more roots than you can see in the video. There's a decent amount of roots on this course, but also some smooth sections. And we turn left onto an intersection over to Meadow Rise. Meadow Rise is a kind of a wide open trail. Some ups and downs. Gonna go through some grassy areas. So I push it hard, obviously, and this is where it starts to hurt because you've already done a little bit of climbing, settling into your pace. The pedaling is a bit more consistent in the beginning, then you get into tight single track where there's more stop pedaling, start pedaling, push hard for 15 seconds, go around a corner. So you finish up Meadow Rise with a kind of a downhill section, pretty fast, and still get some good hard pedaling in. Then when I get to a road here, I go left, and we're gonna go up a hill, short but fairly steep hill. If you used to race San Velasco a few years ago, you'll know that this was part of some of the starts, going out on this kind of fire road, going up a hill. On the hill, so this one's kind of steep, probably about 8%. Again, this is where the pedaling is pretty consistent. Legs are starting to feel it on the time trial. And then we're kind of turned onto Tongue Nut, which is a pretty long trail here. If you're familiar with San Velasco, basically the course just stays on Tongue Nut until you get back to where we started. So by now I'm probably, I don't know, I'd say maybe 5-6 minutes into the course. And the whole course takes kind of between 37 and 38 minutes to complete. Slight downhill right here. Some roots there. Up a slight hill. Then we come out into an open section that lasts, I'd say, about half a mile, and then it's all wooded single track after this one. So this is mainly downhill, but it's pretty bumpy with the grass. Kind of a fast pedal section through here. And then we head up a hill for a little ways. Still going uphill. We're done with the open section. Now we get into more wooded single track that will be on for pretty much the rest of the course. Finishing the uphill, slight downhill, another slight uphill, and then we go into what's known as the completely wooded section of Tongue Nut. And we cross over this power line road. And then this is one of my favorite sections of San Velasco, this part of Tongue Nut. It's about 3 to 3.5 miles, just constantly up and down. Then we start a hill that's got about 4 or 5 switchbacks on it. And when I get to the top of this, I look down and look at my time and consider that my split. And most of the splits have been around 16 minutes. So not quite halfway, but getting close. Still going up this hill. Pretty good little uphill, fairly rooty. So right when I make this turn and past that dead tree, that's my split. And I've been recording my split times, and I kind of get an idea of how that time trial is going when I get to that split. Tight section through here. This tight stuff is where you know, the cross-country bike should have an advantage, because that thing turns so quickly. Little downhill here. Got some roots to navigate on that downhill. Another uphill with some switchbacks. Downhill with some tight turns in the beginning. This is a pedal downhill. This is where the spur is nice, because it has more travel and you can just kind of stay in the saddle and pedal hard on these downhills that are a little bit bumpy. Finishing a little uphill section, and then got a fun little short downhill here. We're going to come out into a short open section. This is a popular intersection. And then back into the woods to finish up Tongue Nut. Almost washed out right there. A fun little section of Tongue Nut here, getting somewhat near the end. Got this downhill section. Coming up is where it's the only place where I use the dropper post on the spur. Right here is just easier to get back on that little drop there. Other than that, I really don't use the dropper post, so it's not really an advantage on the spur. It's there, but on this course, you just don't need it. It would be a huge advantage if you had some technical downhills, but my cross-country race bike does not have a dropper post. One of the reasons it's lighter. Dropper post adds about ½ a pound to the bike. Got a climb here. Then it's a very short, slightly technical downhill. Okay, we're coming up to the Ramble Bramble intersection. If you're familiar with this trail, you're right out here. I do not take Ramble Bramble. I stay on Tongue Nut all the way to the end. So right up here, I just keep going straight. And then we finish up on this very straight section of single track that's smooth and slightly downhill in the beginning, and I hit kind of close to 24 miles an hour. And then you've got this short little uphill back to where we started. So as soon as I pass this little sign here, I stop the stopwatch. And that's the time trial course. So coming up in a few days, I'm going to share the first round of time trial results. So far I've done 5 time trials on the cross-country race bike and 5 on the transition spur downcountry bike. And I'll tell you how they compare on that course that you just saw. So that'll wrap it up for this video. Thanks for tuning in to Project DC. It's going to be a several month project. Probably more like 3 or 4 months, but it's fun. All right, that'll do it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. You can click on my little logo there at the bottom, and I'll catch you in the next video. Oh, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Thanks, bye.